Welcome to the Self-Awareness and Self-Compassion Podcast, formerly known as the Full Spectrum Feeling Podcast. I'm your host, Blaise Schwaller, life coach, mom, and former tattoo artist. I help people heal their past, speak their truth, and love the lives that they're living now. Join me here every week for conversations on how to live an imperfect but fully engaged life that embraces all the feels so that you can stretch into your best life while enjoying the you that's here right now. Hello and welcome back to Full Spectrum Feeling. Have you ever noticed that other people can see you in a way that you just don't see yourself, or that they actually give you way more credit than you would give yourself? I had a really cool conversation with a friend this past week where she told me that she just was so impressed by how I just keep going on every project that I start, and I'm always accomplishing things and getting things done. And as she was speaking, I thought to myself, who is she talking about? Because I give up on myself and my projects all the time. And it made me really take a moment to pause and look at it from the outside, the way someone else might be looking at my life. And what I realized is that, yeah, I actually do accomplish a ton of things, and I am always working towards getting stuff done. But the truth is that other people aren't seeing all of the times in the middle of the day where I just go into my own personal crisis mode and completely give up on not only the project, but even on myself and how I believe and think about myself. And, you know, what a great opportunity to notice that not only do other people not notice or see that, but they actually hold me and they hold you in this kind of awe that we're able to get so much done and seem like we never give up, or seem like we never run into problems, or that somehow we're handling our problems better than they are. And I want to just tell you, if you think that's you, hold the bus, because you're actually handling things just fine. Like 99% of people are handling things to the best of their ability and doing just fine. And not everything needs to get done at the speed with which we think things need to get done. And I think that might actually be the secret to how I seemingly get so far on all of these goals and accomplishments. And it's because I really look at them as a series of very tiny micro accomplishments to get me to the big goal. And so I'm always accomplishing ultimately very small pieces of the puzzle that will add up to get me to the big picture, the big puzzle. And I've learned to do this, one, because otherwise I just crumble into this, self-defeated, agonized individual curled up in a ball on the floor going, why me? Why is this happening? Why is life so hard? But I do it because I really enjoy celebrating little tiny successes, and I enjoy celebrating them to a ridiculous degree. Like, I enjoy having a list in which I put things like take a shower, wash your face, just stuff that's so easy to knock off the list. It gives me something to do that I can say, haha, I've accomplished that. And part of that I learned, as a new mother when that was happening, because it's so damn hard to just take a shower or eat a breakfast at that particular stage in life, that putting it on the list feels like a massive accomplishment. Like, I combed my hair today. That's amazing. But I've kept it on that list post the early stages of having a newborn and having a toddler, and now I've got a little girl, because it feels really good to have something very simple to accomplish and almost automatic to accomplish. And it gives me that boost of steam that I need to then look at my list and go, okay, there's something on here that I don't want to do, and I'm going to do it anyway. And that kind of energy that you get from having simple things like, woo, I made a breakfast. And even if it's something that I'm like, I just grabbed a protein bar out of the closet and I'm eating it, check, it's done. If you can look at that and feel good about it and feel happy and allow yourself to receive that you've accomplished something, it can really power you forward to continue going on your goals. And I know that what my friend sees when she looks at me is that, I've been working on putting together an online course and starting the podcast, and I'm raising my daughter, I'm enrolling her in school, I have my book club, there's just a ton of things going on in my life all the time, and I'm doing my health journey, I'm working on how I'm eating, I'm working on how I'm moving, how I'm exercising, and I really do, keep track of that, not in a militant, I have to do better kind of way, but to just notice that every day I'm paying attention and that's a victory, that every day, how am I feeling? Am I able to add something new, or is it okay to just assess, like, this is where I'm at and it's good? And I'm very willing to talk about that with people. And I've noticed that a lot of us keep quiet and we don't want to share what we're working on for fear of judgment, or like people will think that we need to have done more or have something more exciting to say. And I think it's actually really wonderful when I hear from people that they're continuing to work on their project and maybe they really are still at the same point that they were last week, but they've had a realization, right? And the realization is actually the accomplishment. And to be able to tell more people, like sometimes just recognizing that you need to approach it from a different angle, or you've had a revelation, or your inspiration has changed, is enough. And it really does make all the difference in that forward momentum and actually getting to that end big picture where you put all of the pieces of the puzzle together. So I think determination has a lot to do with just showing up, and it's the small, tiny steps. It's not necessarily the Herculean effort. I certainly have days occasionally where I'll sit down, like tax day, right? That's to me like a massive undertaking that, one, I dread. I hate doing math. I hate having to tally up all of the expenses. I don't like any of it. And I'm always worried about like judgment from the IRS. Have I done it wrong? And I'm always trying to do it right. And it brings up this anxiety, like being in a math test, an algebra class back in high school and going, shit, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I have to get this done. And I sure hope I pass. And if I pass, maybe I'll get money back. Like it's actually higher stakes algebra, right? But for something like that, I do find I have to work myself up. I have to get really excited about doing it. And I'm never excited. I'm not like joyful. Yay, it's tax day. I don't think I've ever had a tax day where I felt excited about it. But this year, I approached it with the thought that it has to get done either today or on April 16th or whenever the deadline is. But if I do it now, I won't be thinking about it every day until April 16th. So it actually behooves me to just sit down and deal with my feelings today about it and just deal with my math anxiety, my fear of judgment from the IRS and getting things wrong, my fear of messing it up like I did last year and having to do revised forms. And truly, I don't recommend that. But if you do, it turns out it'll be okay. Everything is fixable. So that's nice. I guess maybe last year taught me that too. And I can extrapolate that and say that when even the IRS can work with you and you can figure out what you've messed up and fix it, then you realize that no matter what you're working on, if you take the baby steps and you get things wrong, it's okay because you can kind of go back and adjust and you've learned something new. And maybe not only do you get where you wanted to go anyway, but you also now have this sense of freedom, like you're allowed to mess up. And I actually very much appreciate allowing myself to mess up on all of my journeys. I kind of have come to understand that it's a part of everything. No matter what I do, somewhere I'm going to fuck it up. And I used to fight so hard against this. And to an extent, like when I'm really in front of people, I really don't want to mess up. It's embarrassing. I don't relish falling flat on my face or putting my foot in my mouth or saying something really stupid, but I know it's going to happen. And I've come to terms with that and learned to look at it like, you know what, though? Everybody makes mistakes. And I would be okay if someone in front of me was giving a presentation and they tripped on their words or said something dumb. And I'd laugh a little bit with them, but then I'd just let it go because that's, I can understand the intention of what someone's offering me, not necessarily the mistake that they make. And I have learned to assume that other people might do the same thing for me. And gosh, having that belief underneath things really makes me feel safe. And I would love if listening to this makes you feel like, whoa, maybe I have permission to feel safe in front of people, doing things that I want and completely bombing it. Because when you have that sense of it's going to be okay and people aren't going to judge me forever and hate me, and they might even help me or understand because they also have messed up spectacularly, it just lets you mess up, get up off the floor, scrape off the dust, and keep going. And, when you recognize that something's gone awry, you can go back and correct it without adding in that additional judgment. And I think we judge ourselves so harshly for never quite accomplishing what we wanted fast enough. I think that's a theme that I've noticed in my own life and in my clients' lives lately, is that we all have this compulsion to have already done everything. Like once we have the idea, we think, oh shit, we should have already have accomplished this idea by this particular instant in time. And then we give ourselves an unreasonable deadline because in our mind, we're thinking, shit, we should have already done this 5 years ago. So I guess a reasonable deadline for me is 3 months from today. I should have this whole new idea done. But the reality is that anything worth doing takes time. It's a process. We might actually be able to enjoy the process. Imagine that. And, putting crazy pressure on ourselves, one, it doesn't motivate us to work any harder. It actually makes us kind of avoid it for fear of doing it wrong. Certainly, I procrastinate when I don't want to get something wrong, and that just means I'm not starting at all. I'm not getting anything done. But, yeah, that's life. We all feel that way, and it's going to be okay. So whatever you're working on, I would really love to just give you a boost of encouragement, say congratulations on even getting started. Please release any attachment to how fast you need to get everything done, because ironically, in my experience, the more I let go of having this crushing deadline, the faster I seem to want to work on things, and things just come together and get done on their own. So what would it be like if you were able to just work on things without worrying about what that means about you, or what other people are going to think about what you're working on, or how many things you're working on? What if it's okay to only work on one thing? What if it's okay to only work on 2 things, or nothing today, and that's okay and can be an accomplishment as well? So something that I think is really neat is that nobody else in the world actually knows if you've given up on yourself. And because of that, when you decide to not give up on yourself anymore and just keep going, they don't know about that either. And they're going to just assume that you just keep showing up and getting things done. And man, that gives you so much space to have like a little tantrum every now and then, and to dig in your heels and not do things and give up on a project, give up on yourself, give up on like life, give up on anything going right. Because once you have that tantrum, you can be like, okay, I actually feel better now. And I've dwelt in that space of just hating everything and not liking how things are going. And oddly, I feel motivated. Now I want to get back into it. And that's pretty awesome. So please, give yourself some credit. Give yourself permission to feel how you feel. Take breaks when you need them. Judge yourself if you have to. And maybe try not to, broadcast to the world how you're not getting things done. And instead, start focusing on how much you actually are accomplishing, moving through, just showing the world who you are and what you do, because that's all the world sees. They don't actually know. When you have these moments of doubt, when you have these moments where you stop, if you stopped for a week, a month, a year, and then you kept going, a lot of people in the world only will ever look back and see that you got stuff done anyway. They won't care about the pause. And maybe we shouldn't care so much about that either. And isn't that a fun and liberating thought? My friends, I hope you have a wonderful week. If this episode spoke to you and you are feeling some feels about, your goals, your accomplishments, and how you judge yourself or how you think other people are judging you, tell me about it. Send me an email, hit me up, blaze@blazeschwaller.com, and I would love to, craft a response and figure out what we're all thinking and feeling right now so we can have an even more in-depth conversation and, boost each other up and help each other feel more happy, more satisfied. Actually, I like that more. Feel more satisfied about how we're living, because I think the world needs some more satisfaction right now. May you be satisfied and have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share it with someone you love, and leave us a review. You can learn more and get some self-compassion tips and tricks by visiting coachwithblaze.com, where you can sign up to get my free booklet on overcoming anxiety, overwhelm, exhaustion, and burnout. I'm sending you so much appreciation and love, and I'll see you next time.